Hi folks, I've still got some decent weather, so I figured I'd kind of shoot outside here a little bit. But actually today's topic actually came out of a conference I was at last week, and it was actually a compliance conference, which I thought was going to be a real drag, but it ended up being a very fascinating, some great topics that were covered. And so I'm going to be covering one of those topics today, which is financial frauds and crimes. I am going to refer to my notes here just to make sure that I kind of cover the things that I want to. This will be very top view, so if you do want any information, I will give you some resources to look at. The one thing that they said was that in 2018, there was $2.71 billion lost in financial crimes and frauds. That's a huge number. And out of those, the targeted sectors were manufacturing, construction, finance, and real estate. If you are in any of those industries, you need to be very aware that these things are going on, and they're going on at a huge rate. As a matter of fact, the FBI has a website. It's called IC3, which is the Internet Crime Complaint Center. If you ever have a complaint, you can go on there and file the complaint. One thing that they did say is that you need to do it within 48 hours. Otherwise, it becomes nearly impossible to be able to recover any of the monies. On this website, they actually had over 900 complaints per day on average. So to me, that's just a pretty huge number. What were some of the methods that most people used? Well, the first one was fraudulent emails, where somebody would pretend to be the CEO or president of a company. We sometimes get those with clients. People are able to hack into client accounts, say, hey, I need cash. Can you wire it to this money? Or, my son's overseas. He's, he got arrested. He's in jail. We got to get him out. Can you wire this money? One procedure that is always in place, and I think you'll find this in most financial firms, but this is specifically in ours. We will not take any money requests via email. We will pick up the phone, we will call them to verify that this is them, that this is their request, and also to reinforce with them, if they do want a transaction done, please call our office. So I think that's a real good procedure to have in place. The other one is with fraudulent customer invoices, where they'll hack into systems, get invoices, send invoices to clients, have the money sent to another account, usually offshore. All right, that's the second way to do it. So some of the areas of susceptibility were with virtual currencies, and virtual currencies are anything that doesn't have an actual currencies. Where they're finding a lot of these problems is in a lot of the peer-to-peer transactions, things like Venmo. I forget some of the other names. Venmo's the one that sticks in my mind, but those where you can share money back and forth. Always be very careful. Make sure that you have proper authentications on those accounts. And then also the cyber risk hacking, where they're actually hacking into sites, all right, and then being able to access accounts that way. Another really interesting thing that's happening out there, and this really just fascinated me, is actually these criminals are creating what they call synthetic identities. And how they're doing that is they're actually going and just making up a name, making up a social security number, and they start applying for credit cards. So what happens is, they apply for the credit cards, it gets turned down, but they keep processing applications. What happens is every time you apply for a credit card, you start to build a credit history. So all of a sudden now they're getting a credit history with this fake identity. And eventually, one of the banks sees the credit history and says, we'll give them a credit card. They get it, and then the criminals go to town. They can also use these with your kids' social security numbers. So one of the things that they recommended was add your kids to your credit cards. So you can actually add them on. Doesn't mean you have to give them one, but what will happen is your kid will start building their own credit history. And it's a way to help safeguard your kids there. The final note that they said is, and this is really important, get to know someone in your local FBI office so that if you do run into a situation, that you have somebody that you can go to, and somebody that you know. So all of these are helpful little tools. Hopefully you found it valuable. If you want any more information, like I said, I got a bunch of it in my notes. I just kind of did a top view here, but if you do have any questions or want to discuss any of these issues, feel free to contact our office, and we can schedule a time to talk. So with that, have a great day, take care, and I'll look forward to seeing you on the next video.